What's going on, guys? It's been a while. Your host Sunny is back at it again from the podcast. It's always Sunny in the Six. I hope we're not strangers anymore. I know I took a little bit of a podcation this summer, as I usually do. I think I did the same thing around this time last year. But we're here today again. We got a wicked episode. This is a episode that was actually supposed to be released a couple weeks ago. It is an episode with my good friend here, Eric. He is the founder of Boardgains. It is pretty much a boot camp in the form of a board game. Pretty cool. He came in the studio, brought the board game with him, and we chat about the entire board game, how he came up with the idea, how we got it onto the shelves, his launch, how to take an idea from simply an idea to, what it is, an actual product with the customer base and all that. Boardgains is now officially out there. It is in the market. You can definitely search him up and look for it. I will include details on my Instagram account at always sunny in the six. But otherwise, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are staying blessed. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer. Things are finally open again. Before we start today's podcast, just wanted to give a big shout out to Timeless Decors. If you are looking for any sort of decor needs for this summer or this year or next year or the year after, check them out on Instagram at timeless.decors. They provide all sorts of home decor for weddings, birthdays, you name it. Check them out. Hit them up. Otherwise, let's get back to our regular scheduled programming. We back at it again. We got more episodes coming up in the coming weeks. But today we're all about, entrepreneurship and fitness on this episode. So let's get right to it. Let's go. All alone with me. And we're waiting for the sunlight. Sunlight. For the sunlight. Sunlight. For the sunlight. Sunlight. A couple months ago.
Yeah.
I know you were on the Palace podcast.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the boys.
Yeah, that was really good.
And you came up with a pretty cool, interesting idea, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it was years in the making. Years in the making. A couple years in the making, 4 or 5 years in the making. Just building it slowly and slowly.
Yeah.
Just perfecting it.
Right.
So now it's perfected. Like it's just years of testing, play testing.
Yeah.
And just basically play testing, figure out the rules
and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like it's great timing. First of all, this episode is going to be released in in 2 weeks, but
perfect.
It's Friday today, and it's the first day that shit's reopening in Toronto.
Yeah, I know.
You got Winners and HomeSense lineups wrapped around.
Packed. I saw it today. Yeah, Winners was like around the building. I was like, God damn, people don't have underwear.
You know what? Exactly. I just shared that on my story that it's a great time now. People are finally they're so excited to buy socks and underwear and whatnot.
They all want a reason to leave the house.
Yeah, but I don't blame them, right? It's been a tough year.
Yeah, it's been tough.
And we only really have 2 months, if you think about it, in Canada, of warm weather, of hot weather, right?
Three.
September, let's say
2.5.
2.5, right?
September goes midway, and then it starts to get chilly.
June kind of has those random days where it rains and stuff, but I don't blame people, man. So people are out there on patios, they're trying to catch up with their friends, and it's about time. You have cities like Las Vegas that are 100% open.
Yeah.
Whereas now even retail is just 15%, which explains why the lineups are super long, right?
I was at Woodbine last Saturday, and it was jam packed. It was 20,000 people there. I felt like I was at Miami.
Yeah.
And this is Woodbine Beach, and it was just
was this on, when was this?
Saturday. Last Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
Last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday.
Yeah.
And it felt like Miami Beach. It felt like a club. There's people everywhere. People just walk around with 26ers. Girls are just girls everywhere, and then guys are just giving shots to girls just like that.
Yeah.
Cops are coming by, but cops are not doing anything because there's so many people, and everybody has a bottle, everybody has beer, and
it's fucked because me and my girl, we've gone to Toronto a couple of times, and the problem with day drinking is that during the lockdown or these restrictions, you couldn't go to the bathroom. So there's an article today that was dropped by Block TO, and they were talking about Trinity Bellwoods and how everyone's kind of urinating outside, and it made it look like everyone that's at Trinity is that they should know better, right? But at the same time, I'm like, it's a Toronto problem.
No. What they need to do is install a washroom there.
They do have a washroom.
They do?
They do,
Okay.
but it was locked.
Oh,
And
it's
like
locked.
if you go to like restaurants and stuff, like I remember
Yeah,
we
it's
were
all
like,
like you can't go in
you
to use the
can't
washroom.
you can't because for them it's like we have to clean it every time someone's
Yeah, yeah.
inside, right? So that's kind of one of the problems with day drinking in Toronto.
Okay. Well,
But
Woodbine, the washrooms are open, and then
yeah,
we were smart. We just like literally like parked up close to the washroom and then set up everything there, and then
yeah,
it was the most busiest spot because everyone's walking back and forth, going to the washroom.
yeah, yeah.
So it was a nice, nice little spot. If everyone to be at the beach, a nice spot to check girls out or check,
Yeah, yeah. Finally,
everyone's got to use the washroom.
yeah, I mean, finally, public washrooms are open to everybody, so that's good news. But as health and wellness has become, kind of at the forefront,
Yeah.
especially with this pandemic, and you came up with this board game that is literally a circuit, a series of exercises. I've played a shitload of board games growing up,
Yeah.
from like Guess Who's, Categories, Monopoly. I've never seen a board game that is pushing people to be active,
Yep.
at least.
This is
So talk to me a little bit about it.
this
What
is
is a board game?
This is like the first official actual fitness board game. There are others out there, but they're more like educational and more like trying to teach children like exercises, but also nutrition.
Right.
So like they have like cards where it's like apples are good for you, oranges, vitamin C, stuff like that. What I created is like more like I call it Bootcamp in a box.
Yeah.
Because I originally created it for my bootcamp classes, and now I created it. Now it turned into its own bootcamp. So it started off.
So when did you maybe, because it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
When did you think about the idea?
Okay. So
How did it occur to you?
it goes all the way back. So I was at George Brown College.
Okay.
This was like.
What campus? Toronto?
Yeah. George Brown College. I was doing my postgrad in sport and event marketing. So that was a great program. And that's where I learned everything about sport, like sponsorships, advertising, events, and stuff. And then before that program, I was at York for Kin.
Okay.
So York at Kin, I learned health and fitness, did my postgrad, sport and event marketing, learned marketing, events, and all that. And then our final project for George Brown College was create an event from start to scratch, from start to finish, and execute it. So what our group did was we created a board game night.
Okay.
So we did a board game night. We had all different types.
Kind of like a games night, pretty much.
Yeah, it's sort of games night.
Okay.
Like things like snakes and lattes, that type of vibe.
Yeah.
But we had like drinks, we had food, we had prizes, all types of board games to play. We had video games as well to play. We had karaoke. So our event was really well. Everyone loved it. There was a lot of people coming in and through. So that was that. And then after that, I worked at a gym, Habitual Fitness in Mississauga. Shout out to them. And I just created a role for myself as a marketing and events manager. So I did that. And one of my first events I did was I wanted to create a fitness twist to my board games night that we did at George Brown College.
Right.
So what I did was I did 4 stations, so 4 circuits.
Okay.
The first station was Fitness Monopoly.
Right.
So that was the original Boardgains, Fitness Monopoly. And then I had another one, Fitness Jenga, Fitness Blackjack, and a Fitness Roulette.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
there's a whole portfolio if you think about it.
Those are for
more
future projects.
Yeah.
So we had we were probably like 30 people, and then we split the people each station.
Right.
And then after 10, 15 minutes, they rotate to the next station and do the workout.
Yeah.
So the event went well. Everyone loved it. And then, so I had this whiteboard, this fitness.
What year was this?
This was 2016. September 2016 was Boardgames Bootcamp.
Right.
So then I had this whiteboard, and then I would just use it every now and then to teach classes. And this is from 2016, 2018. So I would just use it every now and then, teach classes. And then 2018, I was like, okay, everyone's liking this board. So let me get this converted into like a poster. Instead of make it more presentable now.
Right. Something that printable, that it's like a printable, almost like a board game.
Yeah.
But on paper.
Yeah. So I got it printed at Vistaprint.
Okay.
And then I did an event. So this is September 2018. I did an event. So now I changed the name from Fitness Monopoly to Fitopoly. So it's Fitopoly now. And then did an event. So I had 10 participants. And then I had one prize. The prize was one of my friends, Chef KD. He gave away, it was a in-house 3-course dinner. So he'd come to your house, cook you a 3-course meal. And yeah, so that was the prize.
Right.
So the event went well. Everyone loved it. And then after, we're just kicking it, hanging out after the workout. We're having drinks, we're having food. And then my friend Lala, she's the one that won the event. She's like, Eric, where'd you buy this game? And I was like, I didn't buy this game. I made it. And she's like, Eric, you got to make this into an actual board game someone could buy.
Right.
And then I just like, ding.
Light bulb just went off, and you're like, why the fuck not, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And before I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about like how to make my classes fun, you know, just
how to
doing
make
it for the people,
make it interactive, how to get involved, right? I think you nailed it. Like a big theme when it comes to working out, especially when I've been working out at home, and especially when gyms were closed.
Yeah.
A sense of community. Right.
Exactly.
So whether you're actually like, I used to work out at Fit Factory on King Street, and I've been at One Academy a handful of times as well. But you can't. There's no tapping out in that 60-minute window. You're go, and the biggest motivation is
other people,
the people around you, right? And when you have circuit stations, even better. But you kind of brought it to home.
Yeah, well, this it's basically like this is a big circuit. It's
like a mess. So for the listeners that can't see what I'm saying, it's a board game, looks like Monopoly. There's a set of dice, and you pretty much like. Can you explain it to me? So you roll the dice.
Yeah. So it's basically roll, move, exercise.
Right. Okay.
So the first step is you set the gains that you need to do to win. So that basically means how many laps are on the board you want to do to win. So right now on the board I have 2. So 2. So the first person to hit 2 laps around the board, they win.
Okay.
So what you do is you roll the dice, move your game piece, and then whatever exercise you land on, you complete the exercise, come back to the board and roll again.
Right.
There's no need to wait for anybody to finish. You just finish, go back to the board, roll again, finish, go back to the board, roll again.
Right.
So then that way it creates like the circuit effect.
So let's say like if I roll a die, I get number 4. I'm at calf raises.
Yeah.
And so I have to do 30 calf raises.
Yep.
And I continue doing that. The next person after me rolls a dice, and then they do their exercise.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But in the beginning, everyone rolls the dice.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone starts at a different spot, and then everyone has their game pieces, and then you do 3, 2, 1, and then everyone starts together.
Right.
And then whoever finishes first, they come back board, roll again. Whoever's finished second, they come back board, roll again.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
so
really dope.
So there's no need for waiting for anybody. It's like you go in your own pace, or you try to beat everyone and go fast.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like it's like, especially now that people are chilling more and more at the park, the most obvious thing to do sometimes is like even like, for example, Bellwoods, that's crush a couple cold ones and drink, right?
Yeah.
But then you got people that are kind of doing active stuff, like, they're playing
like volleyball and all that type of stuff.
They're playing, what was it? Spike ball.
Yep.
This I can see like being, definitely being a hit in the park, because so many people have joined boot camps.
Yeah.
And you kind of made it easier, but you're like, hey, here's a circuit for you guys. Get your closest friends together.
Exactly.
They wanna hang out, but also get fit.
Yeah.
And you can crush some cold ones after as well.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like
make it fun.
Yeah, it's where workout meets hangout. Yeah. That's like the theme of the board, and it's all about like you playing with your friends, playing with your family, playing with your your close ones, and then you're just hanging out after,
right,
having drinks, eating food, just having a good time.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
So that's dope, because I first of all, I commend you on taking the risk, and actually so many times I see people and my friends and even myself come up with an idea, and then the big question that arises is, what next? And by the way, gonna say it's Friday, man. Cheers. How do we we think of so many great ideas, but sometimes we don't execute. And so you told me your story started 5 years, and here we are today, 5 years later.
Yeah.
And I think obviously, like right away, a theme that kind of is presented is that you got to be patient.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't rush things.
So I know a lot of it's proprietary in terms of how you did the back end, but so I guess from someone that thinks of an idea and bringing it to life, how was that process? Like, what? Talk to me a little bit about
Okay, for Boardgame, it's basically what I did is you just gotta play test, get all the kinks out of the game, make sure the game runs smoothly, make sure like you got the rules right, everything's good. Play test it with like all different types of people. So I play tested with kids, I play tested with like moms, I play tested with gym people. There's like lots of running crews in Toronto, so I play tested with the running crews.
Right.
And I got the kinks out, because the other board before this one was Pump It Out.
Okay.
So that board had same thing. It's all bodyweight exercises, but they had like moving exercises. So like I had 50 feet lunges, 50 feet bear crawl. I had laps.
Right.
But the thing with that was when I was playing with it, it got too hectic.
Yeah.
Because there's people moving in and out. People are bumping into each other.
Right.
it wasn't organized,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So this one, Boardgains, is like I made sure all the exercises are all stationary.
Mm-hmm.
They're all body weight stationary exercises. So all you really need is like a mat if you want to, or just a little workout space, and that's it.
That's it. So
That's it.
it's minimizing the requirement to play the game.
Exactly.
All you really need is to bring yourself, a good attitude, and
Yeah, literally.
some
That's
good
why I call it
sunshine.
the boot camp in a box.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is.
That's pretty much, yeah, that's what it really is. It's a boot camp in a box,
Yeah.
gamified in the version of a board game.
Exactly.
I love it, man. This
Yeah,
is such a
thank
great
you.
idea.
Yeah.
Good for you. So, when, the game itself is launching next month, is this licensed? Like, is it did you find another company to license it?
No,
or-
right now it's all 100% me,
Okay.
trademarked and everything. So yeah, right now it's
Right. And so when is it, how can people buy the game?
So we are releasing June 22nd.
Okay.
And yeah, you just go on get on our email list. That's the best thing to do. Get on our email list, www.boardgains.com. Get on our email list. We're gonna send the launch email probably like 2 days before, 3 days before, to remind everybody it's launching. And then June 22nd, 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Send the launch email, and then yeah.
What was the hardest process getting to this point? What do you think?
Hardest process.
What have you learned from so far? I'm sure there's so many
So
more
much,
learning
yeah,
experiences
so much. So like
coming in the future, but what have you learned up until this point?
you just gotta grind.
Yeah.
You gotta grind. You gotta just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. Don't stop. COVID was the reason like I had time to finish this, because the gym's closed down. I lost my job at the gym because it's all closed. So I was
were you at the gym full time?
Yeah. So I was one of the managers, the marketing events manager at the gym.
Right.
And a trainer.
Sorry, I think you mentioned it already. Well, what gym was this?
Habitual Fitness in Mississauga.
Habitual Fitness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so all the gyms closed down. So I had this free time. I was like, okay, let me get this board game done.
Yeah.
I need to create something for myself. So like I never am in this situation where I'm like, where am I going to get my source of income now?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, let me get this board game done. And then I was like, okay, how do I get a board game funded? How do I get the funds for this? So started listening to a lot of podcasts, Kickstarter podcasts. So I started looking into Kickstarter. So Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform.
Yeah.
Where you pitch your ideas, get everything ready, tell your friends, family, tell everybody, and then they basically buy it. So it's like a pre-sale, big pre-sale.
Okay.
And then you use those funds to get the game made. So that's how I did it. So I did a Kickstarter. That was last year in October to November. So
Kickstarter is phenomenal. I actually have a friend that started. Shout out to Flight Socks. He used to work with me.
Okay.
Hung Jean, and we used to work at CPP together. And now we were at IMCO. He left, but he started a sock company.
Yeah.
A bamboo sock company.
Okay,
So
cool.
a lot of times when you get socks, there's a lot of wear and tear. So
Yeah.
you always have this toe sticking out and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he thought of a different material. And I remember he was telling me the story. He put it on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And initially the target was to raise $10,000. He ended up raising almost fucking $80K.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Huge reception. Had a bunch of
Yeah.
people already subscribed, and it blew up, man.
That's crazy.
It blew up like crazy. So never underestimate the power of crowdsource funding.
Yeah.
Especially when there's so many in the age of the internet. There's so many avenues to be like, okay, I have an idea. How do I get it funded? One of the biggest hurdles for me. I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I see myself sometime in the future now, having my own business and not working a 9 to 5. Hopefully no one from work hears this, but it's in the age of the internet, it's so easy now it's still hard to kind of understand and weave through the internet, but it's so easy to kind of get your idea out there and get support for it.
Yeah.
And get the funding for it.
Trust me, yeah.
And I think COVID presented a perfect opportunity
For lots of people.
For people like yourself too, where you have an idea, and I was like, now I have the motivation, which is, having lost my job.
Yeah.
And now I have time.
Exactly.
Right. And I think the key though is not just like, we have a lot of side hustles.
Yeah.
Like for example, I have a couple side hustles that I do as well, but it's one thing when you have a side hustle and you have other things going as well, but it's another thing when you have a side hustle and this has to become your main hustle.
Yeah.
Because you have no other choice.
Exactly.
And that's where I think that's the kind of level of, I would say, I'm looking at this Kobe magazine, but Mamba mentality, where it's like, you got to give 1,000%
Yeah.
in anything you do. Right. So what was like the biggest, did you feel like giving up at any point? Were there any moments where you're like, you know what, maybe this may not be the thing?
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
Nothing. When the game got funded, I was happy,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought I would get like like 100% or like 200% overfunded, but it just hit its goal.
Right.
So it's happy, but I thought it was going to be like just blow up on Kickstarter because I'm
Right.
like, yo, it's the first ever fitness board game.
Yeah.
So I'm like expecting it to like blow up because like I had a big email list, but when I sent the email, like that time, I got like $6,000, $8,000 in sales.
Right.
But I was expecting like everyone to like buy it, but I guess like people don't want to pre-sale it or like anything like that. But yeah.
So what is there anything that you feel like you could have done differently?
I could have got on TikTok earlier.
Okay.
That's one thing I wish I did done.
Yeah.
I wish I did earlier. Was get on TikTok because I started using TikTok.
What's your TikTok handle?
Boardgains.
Boardgains. Okay.
Yeah. So I started using TikTok this year, and I'm getting traction right now on it.
Yeah.
So right now, one of my TikToks, it blew up. It's like, I think right now it's at like 2.1 mil, and from that one TikTok, I got 1,000 new emails.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The power of social media. I think TikTok is taken to the next level.
Yeah.
The algorithm is just made in such a way where it's like, your video can hit the masses.
Yeah.
And once it starts hitting like a certain number, it just goes crazy.
Yeah, and you have to be ready for that kind of stuff. You have to
and to be prepared. You can't
prepared and be like, okay, so I'm getting these views. What am I going to do with them? So I made sure everything went on a landing page, and I just collected emails because I always say email is something you own.
Yeah.
Even if like one day like TikTok's like, yo, deletes my account, Instagram deletes my account.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that.
You can't do anything, yeah.
But I have all those emails.
Yeah, that's a good backup plan. I think a lot of people forget that, if your social media account ever gets, that's a good lesson for future business entrepreneurs that are tuning in. If your account gets suspended, you kind of lose everything.
You lose everything.
You lose everything, and it's so as much as I had a Blitzkrieg here yesterday, and he's a South Asian rapper.
Okay.
And I kind of told him like radio is kind of obsolete.
Yeah.
And he kind of gave me his opinion that as much as we have Spotify and all these other SoundCloud and all these other avenues to listen to music, there's still an older audience and a lot of people that still listen to radio.
Yeah, I still listen to radio when I'm in the car. Sometimes like I don't want to listen to my music.
Yeah, and same thing with email. I think a lot of people now are underestimating the power of email.
Yeah, email is golden.
It is golden, but at the same time, it's like, I get so many emails a day from so many like spam emails.
Yeah.
And those are the emails that actually make it through the filter.
Yeah.
If I ever go in my spam inbox, I get all these random ass shit from like all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's great to think about, how to connect to your customer base.
Yeah. So
using different avenues, right?
I talk to different entrepreneurs and like different fitness entrepreneurs, and they always tell me like email list is key.
Yeah.
They wish they started building their email list earlier.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good nugget for everybody out there. Email list is golden.
Yeah, they know 100%. I think, like you mentioned the gym closing. Shout out to all the gyms here in Toronto, across Ontario as well, and in the GTA. It's unfortunate that you would think that a pandemic or this virus that is such a it's detrimental to our health, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, and it's caused so much death as well. Worldwide, that you would think that the government would kind of put an onus on a preventative side of things and think that
exactly.
Instead of scaring people and saying like stay indoors, they should have been a huge campaign of push health and wellness, right?
They should have they do that now, like the Park Fit TO where they're doing free classes, but they should have done that in the beginning.
Yeah,
they should have had like a TV station where it's just like literally workouts all day.
Yeah.
And it's free. People could tune in, follow along.
Yeah,
and then do it like that.
Yeah.
It's just all across Canada. Like, have it in like channel 2, channel 1 or something like that. Find a channel and just broadcast free workouts,
It's like back in the days, PBS, right? Like they used to have growing up. I remember, I forgot who it was. I think it was Tybo. You remember Tybo?
Yeah.
You see the kickboxing?
Yeah.
And he used to always be on TV. But I think fitness needs to be universally accessible, first of all. So it's good for the city that they're doing. It's better late than never.
Yeah.
But I just can't help but feel for the fact that, certain gyms, like so many gyms, including like, Fit Factory, for example, spent thousands of dollars when they were prepared to open.
Yeah, because I think they had a second location that was going to open. And
they were supposed to, and COVID happened. Up at Yonge and Eglinton, I think they were supposed to open up a second location. But, they're prepared for it. They're taking all the necessary measures, and the government's like, well, there's gatherings and there's people touching or whatever the case is. It's not safe. But when you go to like Woodbine Beach and you see thousands of people, it's like, how is this okay? but gyms can't be open.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
How is it that I can go to a grocery store and I can, and it's me just kind of like talking to the wall right now because everyone's thinking this, everyone said this,
Yeah.
but what's done is done. But I can go to a grocery store, pick up something,
Put it
and
back.
put it back without knowingly that no one else is going to clean it.
Yeah.
But you go to the gym, they had provisions and they're prepared to spend the money
Yeah.
to make sure that I remember Good Life did this where workouts were timed, which is great.
Yeah.
Because you go there, let's say 10 o'clock, you have to be there. You have to be
like
out by an hour.
11:30, yeah, or an hour.
Yeah, or an hour, whatever the case is. That was something that's a great thing, I think, be more efficient with your workouts. And then also cleaning, a lot of money was spent on cleaning, but now,
exactly. The gyms are cleaner now than they were before.
yeah,
Because now you're getting everything sanitized. It's like sanitizer guns. We had a sanitizer gun at the gym, and it was so much fun.
right.
Like I had so much fun just spraying it. I felt like the Terminator sometimes.
What is it? Is it like a spray?
Yeah, it's like a spray gun. So it's like a big size gun,
Yeah.
and you just spray sanitizer. It's like a hose,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
spray
yeah.
hose,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just sanitizer getting sprayed, and everything's just,
I've seen that actually. So
everything's getting cleaned, and it's just like
yeah.
something fulfilling about like that, just cleaning everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I understand that it was something that wasn't really paid too much attention to before.
Yeah,
Like back in the days, Good Life, you would get like the towel from like the
yeah.
paper towel,
Yeah,
spray it with
yeah.
the Windex, whatever the cleaner was, and then wipe down, wipe down. It was more of a formality, I think,
Yeah.
for a lot of people because it's like okay, you wipe the bar here, wipe the bar there,
Yeah.
but I honestly think gyms need to reopen. Like they really need to I don't know if they're phase 2 or phase 3.
We're phase 3 right now.
Phase 3. What's
Yeah.
the date for that? Do you know?
It's probably gonna be July most likely.
Okay.
Once you're allowed to eat indoors, then you're allowed to work out indoors.
Right. So I had a crazy 12 hours. Yesterday, I recorded a podcast here with Blitz, and then my girl came over, and she came over around like 9:30.
Yeah.
Had to do a couple things with the family and stuff, and at 10:30, she gets a text message from one of her family members, who's a nurse working at a pop-up clinic, and they're like, there's additional vaccines available here if you're looking for a second dose.
Oh, second
so
dose.
my second dose was supposed to be scheduled for September.
Yeah.
It's been more than 28 days though, and they're like, if you want to get it now, you need to come now before 11. And this was all the way Keelan 401.
Yeah.
We left here at 10:30. Got there at
10:30
like
PM?
PM. Got there like to this high school by Keelan 401 at like 10:55. Literally bolted. Me and Rupi bolted to the school. Made it on time. Her brother was actually coming from Brampton.
Yeah.
He literally made it from Brampton to Kiel within like literally 5 minutes after us. And bro, I'm officially
Fully vaccinated. That's crazy.
So I'm feeling the effects of the second dose a little bit.
Yeah. How do you feel?
It's like, you know what? I feel a little like hungover.
Yeah, that's how I felt after the first dose. I was just like fatigued.
Yeah, like
I was really tired. I was just eating like junk food because I was just too lazy to cook.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, order takeout.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, first one was fine because the first one, I think it was just my arm hurting a little bit.
Yeah, it gets a little sore.
But this time, like when I woke up this morning, I felt like I was getting the sweats. I felt like, and it's funny because I haven't been drinking for like, it's been like, it's been some time, aka 5 days, but
yeah.
So, but I'm like, fuck, like, okay, I'm feeling this. And then I just took an Advil right now too. But people are getting more and more vaccinated. And I think the end is kind of imminent where they're like life hopefully returns to somewhat of a normality of some sort, right?
Now I think we're at like 500 cases today or 526 or something.
I stopped looking at the news now. I'm so like,
less than 1,000, which is good. Good direction because it's going down now.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about like, yourself. So what besides the Boardgains, let's say, during these lockdowns, how'd you keep yourself busy? Like, what have you been up to?
Well, in the beginning, I did a lot of cooking videos. Okay. I like to cook.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah. So like my Instagram is basically workout cooking. That's it.
Yeah.
So like for the board game, what I'm gonna do, it's a new series for the Instagram. It's called Gains Night Recipes.
Right.
So it's just like different recipes people can use for like appetizers. When you're hanging out. So like chicken burgers, different appetizers, different like carrot cake bites, and like healthy chicken wings, and all this type of different things. Because I like to cook. Yeah. And I was like, and I thought of that. I was like, that's genius. Because the game is all about like hosting and stuff. Right. People like to host events. They can get the game, host a fitness event at their house. Yeah. Have like some bomb ass food, And then I have all the recipes. I'm just giving out recipes so they can kick
That's
it at
sick.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok's a great avenue for that.
Yeah.
So like my For You page, I feel like almost 20% of the stuff that I see is literally cooking.
Yeah.
And you can easily, integrate how to cook healthy meals on TikTok with board games, right?
Yeah.
So
That's why the Gains Night recipes. That's how
Gains Night recipes.
Gains Night.
I'm loving the
Gains
name,
Night.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Gains is like, that's what's going to carry on for like different types of things.
Yeah.
So like instead of game night, Gains Night.
Gains Night.
You know, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of cooking videos during COVID, the board game. And yeah, just keeping busy, keeping working out.
What's
a lot of kettlebell stuff I was doing too. Kettlebell juggling.
Sorry, edibles or
kettlebell.
I was like, man, we gotta talk.
No, not edibles.
Yeah, I got my kettlebells over there too. I find, on the topic of kettlebells, actually, I can't remember his name. I think he's from like Russia or something. He was on Joe Rogan. The guy that actually who made the kettlebell.
Passville or something.
Passville, something like that. Starts with a P. I should know this. I needed like a Jamie, like Joe Rogan. I need a Jamie to research this stuff, but I need to hire someone. If anyone's looking for an extra job, hit me up. But,
need assistant.
But so he like when COVID first happened, I was like, everyone was like running to Kijiji looking for weights, right? And as gyms were kind of figuring out what do we do, they started going into the online space. In the beginning, started to offer free classes just Instagram to kind of live and stuff. Everything. A lot of people were hesitant because they're so used to physically being there. But I actually I work out every day. Like I just joined my buddy David Kim. I've been in his program for almost a good year.
Okay.
Took a little bit of a break.
Is he the boxer guy?
David Kim. Yeah. Okay. He does boxing. He's a really good friend of mine.
I think I've seen him on Instagram. Sweat and Tonic.
Sweat and Tonic, yeah. He's a really close buddy of mine. We go way back, and so he kept me in check. And then I kind of, tapped out a little bit.
Yeah,
a lot was going on in my personal life, and I was a little busy. Man, I gained a few pounds. Now I'm back to it again.
Yeah.
Not doing alcohol.
I think when it happens like that, always try to at least get 10K steps a day.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're off your routine, at least try to walk. Walking is underrated. People don't walk.
Yeah.
Trust me, people don't walk. People just drive everywhere. Like sometimes, like even me, I was like, before I started, like, let me try to get 10K steps a day. I was just like driving to the gym. Right. The gym is like literally, it takes me longer to drive to the gym than walk to the gym.
Right.
I can walk to the gym in like 2 minutes if I just cut through the path, or I can take my car and just be like nice and cozy and just drive around. And take me 5 minutes. Yeah. Because there's lights and all this traffic and all that.
Right. You know what? It's funny you say that because I actually saw a video recently where someone had said, the title said, the most important thing when it comes to staying fit is literally walking. And it's the most underrated thing because I feel like I love walking. The problem with walking in the suburbs right now is because like I was in Toronto for almost 3 years. And walking in Toronto is literally like it's entertaining at the same time. Because it's a bit of an adventure, right? Like you never know what you're gonna see. Yeah, there's always some crazy shit happening on Dundas. Always something. You could go in any direction you want to. You can go north, south, east, west, Annex, Yorkville, Riverdale. But in Scarborough, love Scarborough. It's it's a bit of my home. I was actually born and raised in this house. Okay. But it's the suburbs at the end of the day. Yeah. So my route's always the same. Try to explore other routes as well, but it's not the same.
I usually do like the same routes, but like. I multitask.
Right.
So I'm listening to a podcast while I'm walking. So I'm doing two things at once.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking in the podcast while walking.
What are some of your favorite podcasts?
Right now, I like Jay Shetty. Right now, I listen to like, forget what his name is, David Hoppins. It's like all about like funnels, marketing, getting lots of leads, flipping leads into sales, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's what I'm learning. That's why you gotta keep learning. You gotta keep learning. Our life is just all about growing and learning. Try not to stay stagnant, you know. So I'm always trying to learn. Just learn new things.
You know what? Learning, just like walking, is also underrated.
Yeah.
That's why a big part of people ask me like, Sonny, why do you podcast? And for me, I think the biggest thing about podcasting is learning.
Yeah.
I learn so much like from my guests, learn from their experiences. I think you have to be a constant student of life.
Exactly.
And I think there's various phases. Like I've always been a firm believer of this. I used to have a manager once upon a time at an old company, and he used to tell me, in life you need to have 3 mentors or three stages of mentoring. Yeah. You need to mentor someone, So someone that is younger than you,
Yeah.
right? B, you need to have someone that it's your level, at the same, like, you know, you guys
Yeah.
are peers. And then you also have to have a mentor of your own,
Yeah.
right? And if you have that cycle, you kind of, you know, it's like it goes full circle because you're learning from someone else, but you're also passing on that knowledge.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I did that the other weekend. I was at my friend's house, and then his sister like started up like a CMOS company, and literally for an hour, I was just like,
A CMOS company?
yeah, CMOS. So
Okay.
CMOS is like,
Yeah.
it's like healthy kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know much of it. It's like something you eat.
Okay.
And so yeah, I was just telling her like everything I've been learning,
Yeah.
and like giving her advice. You know, what to like first thing to do, get a website going.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
drive traffic to your website, get an email list, build an email list, and I just mentored her for basically a good hour. I mentored her.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's so important, man, because like you know, you learn from each other through conversations as well.
yeah. That's why I like listen to podcasts, because podcasts I'm always learning.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like I'm a huge, you know, we talked about this. I always talk about this, but community is a big thing, right? And community comes from supporting one another.
Yeah,
You know, I think that, and a lot of us really, you know, I can't think of another word, but jealousy is always a big thing.
Yeah.
Like they were able to do it. How come I didn't do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How come I didn't take that leap of faith?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times we come up with excuses like, you know, as you get older, it becomes a little bit harder to take those
Yeah.
risks. You know, you get in a relationship, let's say you get married or you have a mortgage or you have
Yeah.
kids. You have more and more responsibilities where your risk appetite kind of gets a little bit more narrow, right?
Exactly.
But I think that's the difference between living a life that is fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
And a life of curiosity where like now you're 50 and you're like, oh, what if I did this differently?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 31.
So we're
1990.
we're about the same age. I'm 89.
Okay.
And I feel like the 30s are like it's your 20s, but now you have money.
Yeah.
20s you didn't have money, you know, you borrowed money, you had OSAP.
Well, I don't
all
have
that
any money
stuff.
now.
No, but I mean, you have the capability
to
and
make money. Yeah.
not even money. I should say resources.
Resources. Yeah. I have a lot of resources.
Resources in the sense of not just monetary
People you
capital,
know,
but social
networking,
capital,
yeah.
right? Like, you know, we underestimate the power of social capital, the people you meet, and what like it's huge.
It
like
is
who you
huge.
know, right?
Yeah. That's why I try to like, I offer like free workouts to people with the game, to free games. Or like I just like play testing with all different types of people. I always like I message people, hey, you want a free game? You want to play not a free game, but like a free workout,
Right.
To play test the game, just to meet them, just to network with them.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, meeting so many people, just networking, and then like meeting more people because of the networks, and just like get invited to like out like yesterday I was invited to a barbecue,
Right.
which was awesome because I played the game with a girl and her friend, and then they just told me to reach the barbecue, and then I just networked with a whole bunch of people there, and it was just so much fun.
That's the beauty, right? When you see other things falling into place, you know, you got your business, of course, and even though you have no money right now, I think that's the innate start of any business. When it's a startup, you have to start not even with zero. You start with almost you have to start with debt, right? But once you get there and once this hits market, I can tell you like this is a fucking genius idea.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea. I think I'm looking at the branding right now as well. Boardgains is such a great name.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story about how that name came.
How'd that come? How'd you come about that name? It was what
Fitopoly.
Fitopoly before.
So yeah, it was at Fitopoly. That's 2006, 2018. And then I got some lawyer advice. They told me to drop the opoly because you might get in trouble with monopoly down the road.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me think of a next name. So I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
So I just called it Pump It Out because my brand back then was like Pump, Fat, and Sweat. So
Pump,
Fat, and Sweat.
Okay.
So pump like pump in the gym, and in Trinidad they always say
Fat. I was gonna. That's why I'm like,
they always say they're pumping.
I'm from Scarborough. Yeah.
So yeah, pump, fat, and then sweat.
Yeah.
And then sweating is like sweat in the fat or sweat at the gym.
Right.
So that was my branding back then, and then I'm like, okay, let me just call it Pump It Out.
Yeah.
So then so that's 2018. That's 2019. So before it was like Fitopoly, the poster. Then I got I found a website in China, and I sent my files there, and I got it made into an actual board game. So I was like, okay, this is sick. Now I have my first ever board game. It was Pump It Out. So I was playtesting it with people from the gym, outsiders. Playtested all the summer 2019, and that's when I figured out, okay, let me change all the like moving exercises. Let me like start the game off where everyone rolls the dice one by one, and then everyone starts together at the same time. Because before it was just like one person rolls, they start, next person rolls, but the first person who rolls they have an advantage over everybody else.
Yeah.
So I made sure like everyone starts at the same time and narrowed out the rules, and then I was just playtesting, and then a little kid was playing the game too. And then after the game, he took a Snapchat out, and he was like, Boardgains, and he put like the flex emoji.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's the name right there. Done. That's it. Like, as soon as I heard Boardgains,
You
I was like,
trademarked that right away?
No, I trademarked it last year.
Okay.
But I was like, that's the name right there.
Yeah, it's a clever name, man. I think that naming is huge too, because I think a part of, when it comes to selling any product or selling any idea, right? Or in this case, a product, branding is huge.
Yeah.
And coming up with a really clever name is a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, you want to play board games? What's that? And it's like,
it's a fitness board game.
And it's pretty obvious, like, yo, you want to get some games and have some fun?
Exactly.
Why
and
not, right?
This game thing, and like I'm using it for everything. Like
Yeah.
gains just goes with everything. As like ready, set, gains, 3, 2, 1 gains.
Before, when we were talking about the kettlebells, I totally forgot. We got into another conversation, but I find kettlebells to be the most effective way of working out.
It is the most effective way because it's not much space.
Yeah.
It's full body because you have to use your full body to work out with it. You're feeling your core, all these little muscles, your wrist, everything. So, and it's a fat burning tool basically.
It really is.
Because it's all conditioning too.
Yeah.
Strength and conditioning. That's what kettlebell is all about. And if you're doing circuits and stuff with it, that's perfect.
Yeah. So what I do is I do a program called Kettlebell Chaos.
Okay.
It's about a 30-minute workout. 10 minutes. What it is the first 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, you have to do a certain number of sets.
Yeah.
Per side. Doesn't matter how many you do. You have a 10-minute window.
Yeah.
So every week you try to beat how many sets you can.
You know
do
how to like
within
snatch and clean and everything.
Yeah, snatching,
Perfect,
cleaning,
great.
and all that. The second 10-minute set of 10 minutes is literally 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 40 seconds. You get it's anabolic. You get your heart rate up, and then you end it off with 10 minutes of burpees.
Yeah.
Right, and it's killer, man. It's killer.
I'll tell you what I do with I incorporate kettlebell with this.
Okay.
So what I do, these are extra game modes because with the game it comes with the original game mode because I don't want to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
Just stick with the basics, roll, move, exercise, and you set the gains and that's it.
Right.
And then eventually I'm gonna have an add-on.
Yeah.
So people could buy the add-ons where it has like different ways to play the game.
Different, especially if you have equipment. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I do, this is called the superset mode. So the superset mode, I use it with kettlebell. So I think of like a kettlebell circuit. So I could do like, maybe I'll do like 5 snatches per arm.
Okay.
So that's a superset. Because you see right now, you see the SS.
Yeah.
What I did yesterday, we did superset with the hill sprints.
Okay, sick.
So what I do now is, whatever you land on, so that you land on 10 push-ups, you do 10 push-ups, and then you do the superset, which is 5 kettlebell snatches per arm. And then you come back to the board, roll again, go on the next exercise, and then do that exercise, which maybe it's
Bro, this is amazing.
40 steel jacks, and then do the 5 snatches, and then come back.
What's your favorite exercise on that on the board game?
I like planks.
Okay.
Because you get to use a sand timer.
Yeah. Okay.
When was the last time you ever planked with a sand timer?
Yesterday. I mean, not with the timer.
Yeah.
But I was planking yesterday.
Yeah, and then
but with the timer,
reason,
how long is the timer?
A minute. 6
a minute?
seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're like, oh, Eric, how do I land on plank? What do I do next? How do I time it? I was like, use a sand timer.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because that's play testing.
Yeah.
Before I didn't have a sun timer.
Right.
I was like, I was trying to track time. I was like, okay, this is hectic.
Yeah.
And I was like, sun timer. Let me get a couple. Like the game has 3 sun timers, and then
I think game testing, play testing, sorry, is huge because you can come up with an idea, but you got to also, the only way to perfect it is by actually executing it and doing it, right?
Yeah, that's why I just play test with people just to get the kinks out.
Are you still play testing right now, or are you happy with the version that you have?
This one, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 98% done. There's nothing. The only thing different. Not much.
Yeah. So generally speaking, not just in the context of games, I think this would be pretty informative. Based on your experience, like if to get a product on the shelf of retailers, like let's say Walmart, how do you embark on that process? Okay.
So first step, you need to find, if you want it in Walmart, you got to find the buyers.
Okay.
So people that buy their products to put at Walmart. So you have to network with them.
And these are Walmart employees, or are they?
Yeah, they work for Walmart, but they're a buyer. They call like Walmart buyers.
Okay.
So you find them, you network with them, and then probably send the game to them so they see what it is, and then like figure out, go down to meet them or something like that, and then just network with them, get in their good hands, and then just connect with them, and then maybe they'll buy like 1,000 games, and then, or maybe probably Walmart we need 10,000 games because who knows how many Walmarts there are out there.
Yeah.
And also that's one network. That's one way finding buyers, and you can do that on LinkedIn. search up whatever Walmart buyers, find the Walmart buyers, and then connect with them, figure out like how to reach them basically.
Right. So it's interesting, like 'cause there's a lot of research that goes behind it. I have a buddy, I'm not gonna say who, but almost 7-8 years ago, a couple years out of school, he was in South Africa, and he came across I guess a local vendor there
Yeah.
that sold canola oil
Yeah.
like super cheap, and he ended up, it was so random, like he saw the canola oil, he's like, wow, this is actually, it's pretty expensive here in Canada as it is. This guy was selling it for dirt cheap. He made a massive order, got a container, and he somehow linked up with a massive superstore. I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
And they ended up buying out the contract and buying out the container. And now that's been his thing. And now that's led him to literally be in the import business, which was nothing that he thought about when he was in school.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like the only way to figure out not necessarily how to make money, but like you gotta just, it's trial and error, right?
Yeah.
Everything around us, man. Like I'm looking at that tissue box, that Kleenex
Yeah.
box. Whoever is the CEO of that company wasn't in school saying, okay, I'm at, let's say, Queen's University and I want to be the CEO of a Kleenex company. No one really thinks about that. People think about, I want to be an astronaut.
Trust me, I was like, I'm like, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I was
it's
like, let me go into like kin, because I saw like health and fitness as trending back then. I was like, okay, health and fitness is going up, so let me get in this industry and see where it goes.
Right. But eventually, like you get into, like I have friends that are in like the metal casting industry as well. Something that they would never have thought about when they're in school, but they try something and they see, okay, there's actually a pretty big market out there for this.
Yeah.
Why don't I go the full 9 yards and see where this takes me?
Exactly.
And it's interesting. I think a big takeaway for a lot of people is just taking risks and just do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that can happen? You
got
fail.
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Everything to gain.
Yeah, like you have everything to gain. Well, everything to board gains, right?
Yeah, everything to gain. Trust me.
Like, yeah, you have nothing to lose, because the biggest thing is like you don't want to like live your life, look back and be like, fuck, I could have done this. Instead, even if you fail, like I did it, didn't really work out. What did you learn from it? I learned this, and you maybe try something else. What's your best fitness advice?
Best fitness advice is just make it simple. Walk more, and if you do something you enjoy, you're gonna stick to it more.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy doing sports, incorporate sports more throughout the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But walking is the most important one. Try to get, if you can get 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
You're in a good situation.
That's really good, man. I think people underestimate that. That's a big takeaway today too. Like, I always think that you got to run. I know I'm a runner. I love running.
Yeah.
I have a good group of friends that are active runners as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of running crews in Toronto.
So many. They're popping up, and it's great. Like they're creating sometimes.
Yeah, they're creating communities.
Yeah, they're creating communities and
chill after, work out together, and they all have like communities.
People don't realize, and so last weekend I was in Brampton at Jacuzzi Park, and I did a workout with a team called Elevate.
Okay.
And I did it with my girl, and she just joined the group and whatnot. And man, just being outside was great. The turf at Jacuzzi Park is great too. But we had a good turnout. We had about 35 people, and it was a 60-minute workout, burned maybe about 800, 900 calories. But fuck, man, it was great. And I was like, I would love to continue doing this. And that was the reason why I joined David's program again. Because I'm like, I missed the community element.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
It's huge.
It's huge. Like working out on your own and having your own workout is one thing, and if you're really disciplined, that's cool. But to add the fun element, and to add the sense of community, it's important to be associated. Yeah. So when you have like a run club, there might be a day where you're like, oh man, I'm not running today. I don't feel like it, and someone else is like, yo,
let's just do it. And you're gonna feel so good after.
You're back, and there is never a moment where you work out and after your workout you're like, fuck, why'd I do that?
Yeah. You
always get that best feeling. Like
you get the exercise high. You get the endorphins are running. That's the best thing about the game. Like literally, like after you're done playing it, the endorphins are running. You feel so good. Yeah. Because it's a circuit training, but it's boot camp.
I want to talk about, you said walking. Yeah. And I want to emphasize the importance of walking and maybe this concept of 10,000 steps. Shout out to Roy Chan. He's in LA now, but he's also a Scarborough native. He's a homie of mine. We went to school together.
Yeah. I worked with him.
Roy Chan?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you?
I worked with him.
What a small world. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for like I worked
at
with him at
Equinox or
Tate McKenzie at
okay,
York.
okay, dude, yeah.
Yeah, I went to York for kin, and then
Dude, he was in the same program.
yeah. He was
Yeah.
the same. I think he was probably a year older than me.
Okay. Yeah,
But
he is because we're 89.
yeah, so he was working at Tate when I was working there,
I
but he was
remember
like a
that,
trainer
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So like I probably caught him for like I have him on Facebook.
Yeah,
You know?
he's
But he's
now
killing it now.
he's killing it. He's the next level. Like he trains with Oliver from OVO and stuff.
Yeah, he's doing it big time
Really
now.
good friends with those guys. Even the Lee boys in LA. So he's in LA right now. I'm gonna get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
In the future, in the coming months, it'd be great to catch up. But we went to Agincourt and Sir Alexander Mackenzie Middle School. And I remember one of the first runs we did was the Mustang Marathon. It wasn't really a marathon; it was a 10K run.
Yeah.
I came second, and the guy to beat me was Roy.
Okay.
And I always was like, "Fuck, man, Roy." And then seeing him like to where he is, even when he was at York,
Yeah.
and through like Tate as well, to like today, like he created a very niche way. Like the way he works out is very it's different. It's like flow almost.
Flow, yeah. The kettlebell stuff.
It's very
A lot
like,
of mobility.
and it's good because I think as we get older, we don't place emphasis on mobility and recovery.
Rest and recovery, mobility.
Right?
Stuff.
We go ham. We're gonna go hard, 150 kilometers an hour. But the older you get, you can hurt yourself. You can hurt your
always
joints.
I foam roll for 30 minutes sometimes, like legs, back, everything, foam roll. A lot of mobility I do. A lot of mobility, and I use some. It's called a teeter table.
Okay.
So teeter table is like it's an inversion table. So you strap your feet at the bottom, and it tilts back, and then you're fully upside down, and you're just hanging there.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Is it in the gym?
Yeah. So we have it at our gym, and we just put it in like one of the assessment rooms. Because we don't want random people using it because they won't know how to use it. So we put it there, and then I just go there and I just it's for decompression.
Right.
Decompressing your spine.
You're looking like fucking Batman while you're upside down.
Yeah, it feels good.
And,
I just meditate while I'm up there to get my breathing right, so the blood doesn't just rush to my head. And then I just chill there for about like 15 minutes, and then like I feel good after.
So the blood's literally coming from your feet to your brain, and it's a decompression.
Yeah, so your spine is decompressing because like all day you're sitting like this.
You're looking at a croissant.
Curled over at the computer. Your spine's getting squished.
Right.
So when you're hanging upside down, your spine is elongating, and it's getting blood to it, oxygen to it, and just getting a nice little stretch.
Right.
After a lot of health benefits to it.
That's huge, man, because I feel like that's actually good. I never knew about that. Yeah. I did see something online where it's like it's good to hang off a bar.
Yeah, that's what I used to do before. I used to be doing that, but it's like really heavy. It's really hard.
It's hard, right? And it's like, but like the idea of like, because we're all crunched up working from home, I do feel like my posture's kind of gotten a little worse.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more conscious of how I kind of sit at my desk and whatnot. But like the walking, like I think we got cut out, but like walking is important because as you get older, it's still movement.
It is,
and I think before we didn't realize.
Trust me, I get a nice little workout when I'm walking. Like it's like 30 minutes. I'm like, yo.
You can have like
my legs are tired.
You can have a brisk pace. Put on some headphones. Listen to a great playlist.
Yeah.
I think before you have to walk with intent now, whereas when you used to work in the office, it would be unconscious. You would definitely do 10,000 steps, but now that
when I was at work, I was getting 10,000 steps without realizing it.
Yeah.
Or 6,000 steps without realizing it, and then I was like, yo, why am I not losing weight? I'm dropping my calories. I'm working out more. I'm doing cardio. And then I was like, oh, that's why. I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm not walking. So I'm literally I'm working out for an hour, but after that, I'm just inactive for like the whole day.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, that's what's the difference was. Because before, I was doing the same thing, but I was working at the gym. So I'm moving, walking, getting my steps in without consciously thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm just losing weight. So I was like, okay, that's good. But then I started to feel like, why am I not losing weight this time? And I was like, oh, it's the walking.
Yeah.
I'm not even moving. I'm not even getting my steps in. I'm like, that's why.
It's your body does not know whether you are doing, let's say, like it doesn't, when you go to the gym, right? We have like a little, like a workout plan. Your body doesn't know what you're doing in terms of a squat or like a sumo squat or a leg press or lunges, or whether you're walking or you're maybe doing, you're doing farmer walks.
Farmer walks.
Your body just looks at pressure. right? And that's what's happening inside. Like we make up all these different plans and rules and movements, but your body just knows, okay, which muscles are working the most.
Yeah.
And walking is a part of it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a full body movement.
It's a full
That's why
body
like kettlebells
movement.
are so good, because it's full body.
Yeah. Yesterday, like the episode's already released. It's going to be released, but Blitz was here and he was telling me about an accident. He had a motorcycle accident in November. It's pretty bad on the Gardner. He shattered his leg. He was in rehabilitation center for almost in intensive care for a couple months. Didn't see anybody. And he was telling me when he's a grown man. He was like, when I tried to walk again, it was the hardest thing ever. Like it was so hard for me to put pressure on my feet and walk. And it was like, he felt like every muscle in his body working towards walking.
He has to like retrain his mind,
his
mind-muscle connection and all that.
And it's like we underestimate walking right now because it's so natural to us. Just like when you drive sometimes, like sometimes we don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
Like we do pay attention, but sometimes we're so unconscious.
Auto
like
drive.
the
It's
seatbelt. When you
yeah.
put the seatbelt on, you put the gears in reverse or drive, or the steering wheel left or right, or indicators.
Yeah.
You're
just flowing and driving.
Yeah. And so walking, people do underestimate the how much muscle is required for walking. And when you do long distance walking, just as important. So
30 minutes of walking. Bro, you need an hour a day. 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, break it up. And then if you're gonna do an hour, make sure to stretch after, because your legs will be tired. Your legs will be tired, because sometimes I forget to stretch, and then I'm like, oh, why am I so sore? I'm like, oh I walked for like an hour today and I didn't stretch.
It's important to stretch before and after. So when I run, before I used to just get up out of bed with my bed head, and I would just put on my socks, my shorts and shirt, and I would just hit the cement. The concrete.
You have to warm up properly for
and
running and stuff.
I realized I used to get runner's knee, shin splints. So then I started incorporating a 10-minute, when I wake up in the morning before my run, I do like a 10-minute stretch. And it does wonders. When I come back home, I do another 10-minute stretch. That's 20 minutes right there of stretching in the morning, plus the run that I do, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And then in the afternoon is when I do a HIIT workout. And then in the evening, I go for a bike ride. I might, to be honest with you, smoke a J or go for a walk. And
it's my best walks.
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to get out of the house, and so if I'm going to get out of the house, why don't I just incorporate some sort of movement? While I'm doing it, right? So, for everybody out there, 10,000 steps. I challenge you guys, all of y'all.
I'm going to be doing in July a step challenge.
Okay.
So it's going to be July 10K step challenge.
Send me the details. We'll make sure to plug it in here as well and on my following. But man, any last words? Appreciate you coming here, man.
No
I really do. I know we've been trying to coordinate for the last couple months, and I was trying to figure out the studio situation. You're the second guest now to come here.
The Hope Studio. Things
are reopening again. People are getting double vaxxed. Life is kind of returning back to normal. Any shout outs? Any
just make sure to check us out, www.boardgains.com. We're releasing June 22nd.
Okay.
And pretty much it's the game about where workout meets hangout, Go grab your friends, your family, your coworkers, and get your gains.
By the time this episode releases, I think it might be the exact same day as the release of this board game. So I'll definitely include the link on my podcast. If you guys don't know, if you can't access it on a streaming platform, check us out on Instagram at Boardgains. .fit, as well as at Always Sunny in the 6. My guy, thank you for coming. Thank you, dude. This guy showed up with food. You're the first guest out of the 60 episodes I've done. You're the first guest to come and actually bring food, so I appreciate it, brother.
Same thing. The pals said the same thing.
Yeah, man. Yo, this is
no, that's my thing. That's my thing. I bring food to my guests, to the people I meet. I'm being a good host. I like to be like that's what the game is all about. It's hosting events,
I appreciate that, man.
No worries.
You set the standard for future guests now as well. Just FYI, just take notes, guys. But man, everybody else.
That's how you network. When I have to meet, good people like distributors and all that, I'll be doing the same thing. I'm gonna make them just feel awesome.
I think it's important to build those relationships like that too, because a small gesture is that. Well, now I'll remember that. I'd be like, oh, I remember when Eric came by and he got me food. You know what I mean? It's like when you asked me before, and I was like, wait, I remember I asked you, I'm like, why? Because when I had the podcast with Alan Diaz, Spice Rum, with the
Okay.
boys, Hayden,
Yeah.
they launched a rum business. We ended the podcast, and the last half of the 90 minutes, we were talking about complimenting each other
Yeah.
and simple gestures, like just doing, simple gestures of, of gratitude and being
Yeah.
kind to one another. We don't do it enough. Sometimes as we get older, we get this little bit of an ego, and I
Yeah.
think it's important to kind of put the ego to sleep and just do what you feel like you got to do.
Yeah.
Not that you got to do, that you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much love, everybody else. Hope you guys are enjoying June. It is
Nice weather right now.
it's great weather. Hope the
Things
patios are
opening
open, people are getting vaccinated, and stay safe.
Yep.
Peace.
These guys.